Hello, everyone, and welcome to another Getting Off Track series interview. I just want to take a moment to thank the sponsor for all these interviews this season, Kramlich DD Meats out of Medina, North Dakota. It's just located between Bismarck and Jamestown off of I-94 to the north into town. It's a meat and sausage processing business, but Joe, Melinda, and the whole crew do so much more than that. They have a bakery inside their store as well as a convenience, items, groceries, whatever you may need, especially if you're traveling through, you need a little bit of a break. Perfect opportunity to stop on in. They're great supporters of racing and great supporters of the Mason Aaron Racing Videos page. And so I want to thank them for the support of these interviews, and go check them out on their Facebook page as well so you can stay up to date on all the specials and services they provide. Hello, race fans and everyone tuning in. Got another fun interview lined up today. We're going down to Willmar, Minnesota for today's interview. We're going to be talking with one of the Hornet drivers out of that area, Alysha Christenson, driver the number 19A. How are you doing, Alysha?
I'm doing great, thank you.
Awesome. Awesome. We're just kind of winding down this season, so I'm sure you're kind of looking forward to getting the last couple of races in while you can, right?
Yes, definitely. Also looking forward to next year for sure.
Yeah. I got to talk with your brother Andrew last year, so excited to get to know you a little bit. And kind of as we get started, talk to us about how long you've been involved with racing.
So I have done go-karts for 10 years, and before that, we've had a bunch of family race growing up and everything. And then I have raced in the big car now. This has been my second year now.
Okay, awesome. And did it take you a while to get used to racing the big car coming up from the go-kart ranks?
Definitely, just because especially being in the Hornet, it's front wheel drive. And the go-karts are real drive, so it's very much opposite side of the spectrum and just flipping it kind of.
Yeah, and I've been kind of, I wouldn't say on a regular basis going to go-kart tracks, but I kind of venture around to a couple more go tracks here and there. So where did you typically race in the go-karts?
So it all started out in Westport, kind of over by that Sac Center area, and then I ended up going to Atwater with my brother, and we just from there we started to travel around, and we went from all the way down to Nebraska and all the way to Cedar Lake, Wisconsin.
Okay, yes. I from what I've gathered with a lot of the go-kart racers, they do travel quite a bit, even more than when they do in bigger cars. So you kind of get used to the travel aspect right away.
Definitely.
When I just ventured over to Atwater a couple weeks ago for the first time, and I will admit my go-kart experience before these last couple of years were kind of just on paved tracks. So seeing like tracks like Westport and Atwater, they kind of give you a good like indication of what dirt track racing on the big tracks is going to be like.
Definitely, for sure. I feel that it definitely gives you a good starting point and to show you where this experience can start at and where it can go after that.
Now, was it always the plan to get an idea and to jump into a Hornet right out of the gate, or was that kind of just something that came up over the last year or two?
That was actually not the idea. I was very against getting in the class. I really don't know what I had against it, but I was just not like wanting to get in the class. And then my dad just came to me and he's like, I actually found you a Hornet car you're gonna race instead of racing go-karts. And what do you think about that? I'm like, yeah, we'll try it out. So then we've been trying it out for 2 years and it's been going pretty good, pretty okay.
Yeah, sometimes with racing, and if you're going to jump into something, you might as well just jump in head first and don't spend too much time mulling over it. Just like, hey, here you go, and just jump right in.
Yeah, pretty much.
Well, and of course, so Willmar, Minnesota, so you have a track in your backyard. I take it that's one of your home tracks, and where else do you typically race on a weekly basis?
So then I try to get out to Fergus Falls a couple of times. Alexandria is one of my favorites. Or we also head to Madison and Montevideo. Those are really the four that I go out and kind of spread out and travel to.
Yeah, so you have quite a few options within a reasonable distance, so you can get some good seat time over these last couple of years, kind of getting experience. And you mentioned Alexandria being one of your favorites. That's a big track. What's it like racing a Hornet on a big track such as that?
It does definitely get very tiring, but it's really fun. I feel like in the corners I have some more time to think of what I can do on the track and where I can go. but compared to like Willmar, it's kind of not even a split thinking second. Like you just gotta go for it. But yeah, I just really like the bigger tracks as Fergus and Alexandria for sure.
Well, and that makes sense too, especially with Wilmer, because Wilmer's not really a symmetrical track by any means. So it's like you have to kind of plan for something different every set of corners.
Definitely for sure. I mean, no matter with what kind of crazy weather we get down here, it could be raining one day and the next day it could be sun, and we just gotta be ready for any type of track we're gonna be given.
Yeah, and especially this year, the way weather's been. I know I've seen plenty of pictures this year of Wilmer, and it's been flooded in the infield. So I can only imagine what kind of mess that is, depending on the week.
Yeah, it can get very slick out there, definitely for sure. I learned that this year. Um, but otherwise, when we've had a great week of weather and the track's been worked in very nice, it can be a very fun track to race on. And it's just you come off the track and you're like, that was fun, and you wish it was like that every week.
Yep. Yeah. I don't envy track crews that have had to work in a summer like this because it's not been easy to have a consistent racing service with the curveballs Mother Nature's thrown in them. But have you been able to get quite a bit of racing in, even amongst all Mother Nature's shenanigans?
Um, Very once in a while, I'm kind of more letting my brother go off and kind of race just because it is his first year in the Mod 4, and I know he's really pumped about it, and he's more limited to tracks than I am. So it's like I'm kind of giving him more of the push to see if that's something he wants to do. But yeah, I've been still trying to get around. I just went to Fergus actually this last Friday, and that was quite the show to be in. The Bob Gerke Memorial Show has always been something that's very close to our family, especially starting out at Westport at his track.
Mhm.
It's just something that was so incredibly grateful to be a part of.
Yes, and there was a lot of cars there and all the classes last Friday night, so that was really cool to see so many people coming out to honor the Gerke family and Bob's legacy. And so that was one of the big races here with us last week. Do you have any big races planned to finish out the year?
So I plan to actually go. Most people say it's like the Hornet and Mod 4 100. It's in Granite City. I plan to head there and see what I can pull out of there. Otherwise, kind of just finishing out the season in Willmar and seeing if I can get up there for track points at the home track. Might venture out a couple more times, but that's about it.
Well, that's still a good focus to have to finish out the year, especially in your second year in the Hornet division. What would you say has been like the biggest, I guess, curve or the biggest like stride you've seen or from year one to year two in the Hornet division?
I would say definitely. I was very scared to move up to the top. Like, I did not want to see that wall. I didn't want to touch it, nothing. And this year, I very much touched the wall. I came up to it and very much learned that once you get up on that high side, it can be a fun show to run for sure. I would say that's probably like the biggest curve I've learned to overcome for sure.
Hey, I know several drivers that have 20, 30 years of experience that still get spooked by the walls. So the fact that you're doing that in year two, you're on the right track.
Perfect. Good.
So now, I guess is the future outlook for your racing. So second year in the Hornets, are you planning to stay in the Hornet division for a year or two more, or what's the outlook on any classes that you may want to race down the road?
Actually, next year I'm hoping to get out of the Hornet class and maybe go into either a streeter or a B or an A mod, kind of just venture out. I want to see. I've always wanted to be in those classes more, kind of, for sure.
Well, and those divisions are pretty strong in your area, especially the Midwest mods and street stocks. I know there's street stocks in particular have been very healthy car counts all across the board. And even on a Thursday night in Wilmer, they get like 18 to 20, and that just blows my mind every week.
Oh yeah, it's always like the biggest car count, and we just don't know how it's pulled off, but it just happens.
Yeah, so that's a really good sign, and I'd agree that'd be cool to see you kind of move up the ladder as you continue to progress in your racing. Do you have a favorite class that you like to kind of watch at the racetrack versus your Hornet division that you race in?
Um, Obviously, always my favorite drivers I love to go out and watch. I would say for sure either the A or the B mods for sure. They're just a fun class to watch, and just growing up knowing a lot of them, it's just a great class, and there's a lot of action in it, a lot of movement. I mean, just a split second can change the whole race, and you never know.
That is definitely true. I do remember going down to Willmar a couple weeks ago and watching the A mods and watching Don Ishins put three-quarters of a lap on the rest of the field. I hadn't seen that in quite some time. So sometimes the races are close, and sometimes you just get a butt whooping like Don put on, which is also fun to watch in one aspect.
Oh, definitely. It's fun to see those, and it's just like how do you pull that off? Like it's just mind blowing
Yeah, you don't see dominating performances like that too much anymore. But hey, that's what makes racing fun on a week-to-week basis. You never know what's going to happen.
for sure.
Now, what do you do outside of racing? Are you still in school? Or are you venturing off to college here in just a little bit? Or what do you do for work?
So I am a senior. I will be a senior in high school this year, so definitely looking at colleges and kind of figuring out what I want to do after school. Um, and then I work at a assisted living facility, which is always keeping me busy. And then racing, we try and keep up with that 24/7. So we're pretty busy around the clock, it seems.
Racing is a full-time job on top of whatever full-time job or things you got going on. So, managing to juggle a couple different things, that's awesome to hear.
Oh, yes, for sure.
Well, before I let you go, I want to give you an opportunity to thank any sponsors, any pit crew, or people or folks that help you out.
Yes, I would love to thank my dad and my brother and my mom. They have always been my biggest supporters. I'd love to thank Candy Water Conditioning out of Spicer, Odland Trucking, Healthy Fusion of Willmar. Um, Grandma and Grandpa have always helped out. Kent's Auto Body's always been good to us. Paradise Pools and Spa, M&R Bath and Kitchen. And that's pretty much a wrap for us.
Good set of people behind you making the 19A run. I guess the last question I have for you, speaking of 19A, how did you choose your number?
19A. It has a long story. So I grew up at the track watching my dad race and just running around the track and getting some of your fun new drivers. And when you're little, you always get your favorites. And so my favorite was Tim Johnson. He was the number one car. And then Don Ishin's actually the number nine. And so then I put those two numbers together and I got 19. And then I have A for Alysha.
That's pretty cool. That is awesome. That is
Yes.
that's not a common story on how people get their numbers, but that's a really unique one, which is really cool.
And that's been the number since I was 5 years old and started racing in karts. So,
Okay. Awesome. Great to hear. I'm hoping to see you a couple more times before the season's out. Do you have a Facebook page or anything that people can follow along with your racing adventures?
yes, so we do have a Facebook page, Christenson Racing 19A 9C. We keep up with that pretty regularly, at least once throughout the week, post lives and racing adventures. And then we have an Instagram getting started here, Christensen Racing 19A 9C. So yeah, definitely keep up with those and just trying to get our name out there and just so our sponsors and everyone can see what we're doing.
Excellent. Yep, I'll be sure to have that pinned to the top of the interview. And I want to thank you, Alysha, for spending some time getting to know you a little bit. And like I said, hopefully see you a time or two more before the season's done.
Yes, thank you for sure.
Absolutely. Thank you, everyone, for tuning into another interview presented to you by Cramlick DD Meats.